Hello, welcome back to Computer Basics 2. In this one, we'll be going over what is Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is a word processing program designed by the Microsoft Corporation. It's similar to the other tools that we have used, in that case being Microsoft Notepad and Microsoft WordPad, but it's actually more advanced. How do we access Microsoft Word? You go left mouse button down to the start button, left mouse button to all programs. Go up to how do we access? So you go find Microsoft in your folders. Left mouse key, that'll drop down and show you all the different programs within Microsoft, and in this one we left mouse key and open up Microsoft Word. This is what it looks like when you first open it. Okay, you have your cursor, which is again your insertion point within the document. This is the main document where everything that you will be typing will be seen. Now you have your rulers, which is here and here. That just shows you your alignment on the screen. You have your ribbon, which is across here. We'll go into more depth in that in a second. You have your tabs, which go across the top. Then you have, these are your small shortcut bars, or quick access toolbar they call it. This is what you call your title bar, which is your document name. Again, once you go to save it, that will change. And then the application that you're using, which is Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is also called Word or MS Word. It's all the same thing. It's just shortened. Okay. You have your scroll bar down the bottom. If when in doing your viewing, you can also get one along the bottom as well. Okay. Also, the buttons next to the scroll bar are your previous page and your next page, or your advanced page or page back buttons. That's let's say if you have a document that's 50 pages long, you can actually click on those to go forward or backward to pages. These on the bottom right hand side are your view buttons. This one is your zoom. So if I left mouse button on it, which see how it went to like a goldy color, that means I've selected it. If you go to your left, it makes it smaller. See how the left hand side has gotten smaller. If you want to make it bigger, you click on it and you go to your right, and that will actually make it bigger for you. So for this case, we'll make it to that size and let it be done. Okay. So then next to those is actually different viewing formats. The one we're currently using is your print format. That's the way it's going to look when it's printed. The one next to it is your full screen reading. So if you left mouse button on that, that's what it looks like. It'll actually show you the whole page that you're going to be doing. Okay, to get out of that, you press your ESC key on your keyboard. Your web layout, that's the way it looks when on the web. To me it just looks confusing, but some people like working this way and some people don't. The one next to it is outline, and that's as you type things, it'll actually indent it like an outline. And then you have your draft, which is that. For the most part, I usually like working left mouse click on your print layout. It's easy, you can see what it's going to look like when you've printed it. Okay. And then down here on your left hand bottom side is the number of pages in your document, and that it also counts all the words in your document. There's also a little tool in here that if you want to know just a section, how many words you have in that section, you can highlight them and it'll give you a word count. We'll go over that one a little bit later on as we go around, but it's within the tabs and the ribbons, which we'll get to in a minute. So again, your insertion point is down here in the big overall section. what you can do is where it's blinking at you, you can actually type in, I am typing. Okay, so that, and again, if you want to copy, you know, left mouse button, hold down, go to your right. You can also do it from the back up. Left mouse button, go to your left. It'll, when you highlight something, that means it's selected. Your insertion point, wherever it is, that's where either the picture or the words that you're going to be typing will actually be shown. So for this instance, we're just going to leave it like that. Okay, so the first little on your home tab, see how the home tab's actually selected? This one little section is called the clipboard. And what it is, you can actually take things from Notepad and WordPad and Paint and your snip, and it's all using this clipboard. Or even if I wanted to copy and paste the word typing, so I'm going to take my insertion point, hold it down, go to my right, let the mouse button go up here and go copy, click on the end of the sentence and go paste, and that's how you copy and paste. Cut is the same thing. Click your insertion point, hold down the left mouse button, go to your right, go up to the top where it says cut, left mouse button, and it disappears. Okay, so that's that. If you want to change, the next section of the home tab is your font. That's how to change the typing, make typing different, make the sizing different. So if I wanted to make this a bigger font, again, I highlight it, go up here and choose it. And this one is really interesting because as you're choosing it, it will actually change the sizing in front of you. So it's a bit different than the other. Your font, again, if you want to change it, it'll actually change in front of you. Okay. Again, if you, these two here, if you wanted to go up a size, you left mouse button click on each one. If you want to go down a size, left button to go down. Okay. To bold something, left mouse button. See how it's gold boxes around it? Left mouse button and it comes off. Again, that's what you call a toggle. If you wanted to put a cross out across the whole thing, left mouse button and it crosses out the whole thing. See how it's golden color? If you want to say, oops, I didn't want to do that, left mouse button and it takes it away. To change the coloring of your wording, go up here where it says A. A means your text. Left mouse button and there's all your different colors. See how it's changing the colors as I'm running my mouse button across them all? That's how you change your colors. Okay? If you want to center this part, you can either highlight the part that you want to align to center, or if you want to just do a word, you usually can just highlight the word. So that's how the paragraph section is had to your alignments, which is all in here. Okay. If you wanted to do bullet points, you can do them. If you wanted to number things, you can do that. Your indentation. So let's say if I wanted to indent it, like tab it over, I can just press that once and you see how it's moved over. See how these things here have moved from there to there. See, that's the way it was. That's the way it's going to be, or that's the way we want it to be. If I say, oh, I didn't want that, I can also put it back that way, because these two are your that's to take the indent away, and that's to do the indent. If you want to sort anything, that's what that is. This is if you're using your tables, you can actually do that. Now with Microsoft Word, when they made 2010 up, for some reason, when you start typing along, so I'm just typing until you get to the end and it word wraps around. You see how there's a big gap between the different sentences. Normally it's not like that. See how there's a huge gap in here? For some reason the paragraph has been, the spacing has been defaulted to go and do it not normally. So what you would do to fix that is select the whole thing, left mouse key down to the bottom, go up, see this little icon here? That is actually called your dialog box launcher. So left mouse click once in that and it'll make a box pop up. Now you see how down here it's spacing, how it defaults to 10 point? Make that 0. Line spacing, left mouse button once, left mouse button is single, and go OK, and everything will close up. It's very annoying, but that's the way that whoever made this program up, the defaults are set that way. Okay, so any of these little boxes up here, see how I've just run the mouse over that? That's called a dialog program launcher, dialog box launcher. So that will actually make a pop-up box up here and give you more choices. Okay, let's say if I want to headline this as headline. Okay, if I wanted to say, okay, I want to make that different than everything else, I can select it and go up here and choose styles. Styles are preset images that have, so if you wanted, let's say all in your document you have one section for monitor, and you're going to talk, and then you're going to write a whole page on monitors, and you want it to put it as, you know, a heading. This is what you can do, is use a predetermined style to make it more pronounced, and all you do is you run your cursor over it, and when you find one that you like this one, left mouse click and it will save it, and then you type in and do whatever, and then you make another headline, you go up and you can just put in one for central processing unit. So then I go, okay, there's one for central processing unit, and you can actually find it again and click on it and it'll change it for you. Your find and replace, like what we've gone through in WordPad and Notepad, operates the same exact way. So that's the home ribbon. Okay, the next tab, if you take your mouse, go up here and you left mouse button once on the word insert. That'll give you another ribbon with different things that you can actually use from it. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and make sure that next time I type anything, it's going to be normal. Okay, so I'm going to go up here, left mouse click on insert. Now, some reports require you to have a cover page, which is how it's already preset. You can actually make a blank page. You can actually page break this to another page, which is really helpful for, let's say, if you have only half a page on the word monitors, and then you wanted central processing unit on the second line, what you can do is you can click on central processing unit, go up and click on page break, and that'll actually advance it down to the next page. That way, if later on you're going through and reformatting things and adding in lines, you can actually add in lines there without having to reorganize your central processing unit. Whereas if you only put spaces, every time you add or take away things, it'll actually it can actually be taken up onto the page before, or it can actually be added, so that way it's down in the middle of the page instead of at the top. Table, that's how you can actually add a table into this. So left mouse button will bring this up, and what you do is you just highlight, see how it's made the table on your right hand side, and then when it gets the spot where you want it, you left mouse button and it will actually bring that table into your document for you. And then it brings up a secondary tab up at the top, which you can then play around and do editing and do funny colors and things like that. But getting back to your insert, you can insert a picture, sort of like what we've done in WordPad. So you just double click on sample pictures, choose something. The last time I chose a jellyfish. This time I'll click on the lighthouse and click on insert, and it'll actually insert into the table that I didn't click out of. But if I don't want that, I can do undo. I want to click there, I want to do insert, I want to put the picture back. Now to click left mouse click once on lighthouse, left mouse click on insert, and there you go. It's got your handles again, so you can actually go click on it, left mouse click, and go to my left, right mouse click, yeah, left mouse click, go to my left, and to make it smaller for you. And then that again brings up secondary picture tools, which you can actually then play around with the picture. So if you wanted to circle, you can actually click on that. If you wanted to make it like a teardrop shape, you can click on that. If you want to like shadow it, you can click on that. There's a whole bunch of different things. If you wanted to move this into the middle of a paragraph, let me make this into a paragraph, just so that way we can insert the picture into the middle of the paragraph. So I'm going to highlight the whole thing, copy it, paste it, and paste it. And make it into a paragraph. And then I'm going to paste it some, paste it some more. Okay? So now we've got a paragraph. What we're going to do is we're going to take and insert a picture here. So insert picture again, left mouse click. I'm going to do the lighthouse, left mouse. Okay, so there's my lighthouse. Left mouse click, resize it down to a smaller size. That way I can get the words around it. So there you go. There's your small picture and there's your paragraph. In order to put that paragraph in the middle of the typing, left mouse click. See how there's a small box around the cursor? See my cursor? See how if I move it down where you can actually see something on the dark rocks, how there's a dotted box? That means you can now move the picture around, and that's what we want. So I'm holding down my left mouse key to get that box up, and once I have that box up, I can then, while holding down the left mouse key, drag it to the middle of the paragraph, into the middle of the typing, let it go, and it'll actually put it into there. Okay, so now what we do is we actually want the pictures to go around that picture. So we're going to left mouse click on the picture tools, go over to where it says wrap text, left mouse button, and if you go like this, it'll actually show you the different ways you can actually go through and have the text. So you can have the picture behind the text in front of the typing. You can do it tight around it, thorough around it, top and bottom where the picture's in the middle. So that's how you play. And for this one, we'll just make it like that. Okay? So you can do that. Just be careful because it's very confusing. Okay? So if we do space there, the space here, you see how it's, because I'm putting spaces in because I didn't put any spaces in some of this, you could see how it's actually fitted around, and we go, oh well, we actually want to make that a circle, so I can do circle and it'll actually move around it. Okay, so that's how you do that one. And so that's that tab. Now, we've used the insert. The rest of them, if you want to put pictures in, shapes in, just like you would in Microsoft Paint. Again, we're not going to go over any of this. The headers and footers are usually very helpful, but again, we're not going to get into that. Text boxes are very helpful usually. If you want to insert a symbol, you left mouse button on the little arrow and it'll give you more. So if you want to stick things like copyright in, that's underneath symbol. If you want to do an equation, I don't know why, but you can left mouse button on that and it'll actually insert equations and things in there. So I'm just going to get out of that section. So there's when I inserted the symbol, that's what it comes up as. Okay, so the page layout, which is very helpful for beginners. If you adjust your colors, your margins, which deals with your rulers, it'll actually do things to the grayed out areas. Your orientation, like what we currently have, if I pull this back a bit, oops, yeah, okay. If I pull it back a bit, the way that things are laid out now is actually portrait. So it's up and down. Now if we want to make them landscape, we click on landscape and you see how it changes? So we can actually go through and say, oh, okay. But we don't want that. So we're going to go back into page layout. Oh, click off that. Go into orientation, left mouse button orientation, left mouse button to portrait, and that's okay. So then you can actually, let's say, okay, I've had enough of that, and I'm writing a newspaper article, and I want this stuff into columns. So you're going to select what you want into columns, left mouse button, go up here and click on 2. And that's how they get it into all of the newspaper prints and stuff, is like that. Okay? In order to see this stuff, I'm going to actually zoom back out again. Okay. Oh. Notice how I'm adjusting the things down on the lower left-hand side. Okay. So there's your line numbers. You can actually count the lines. Oh, I didn't have my cursor up on the top, that's why I counted down there. So if I go line numbers continuous, see how nets, poets or something might want to use that. I know I've never used it. You can do hyphenation. So in other words, if you have like the word typing, see how my typing actually put a hyphen into it? You can actually use that. Watermark. If you left mouse click on watermark, that's how you get all that type of thing across when you click on confidential, see how it appears. Or you can just do remove. If you want to change your page color, left mouse click, run your button over your mouse over the different colors, and you can do that. You can actually put a page border in, like I said, left mouse button, it asks you what you want to do. And like I said, the rest of it is your indenting and things. We're not going to get into that. References tab, that's mainly if you're doing a report and you need to reference things. You remember how when we were growing up we'd have to write book reports and things like that? This is where people would come to do that thing, and those types of things. Again, we're not going to get into that. Your mailings, that's your envelopes and your labels and your mail merges, which you'd use in an office. So if you wanted to do envelopes and stuff, you can click on that and put in, it actually has a spot for the address it's going to, the return address, and you just put an envelope into your printer and it'll print. I usually use labels a lot, so that way I can just throw a label in, make the whole thing full of address return labels, and that way I can just pull them off and stick them onto an envelope. Review is if you want to check your spelling and your grammar. If you want to use different words and things, there's that dictionary for that. If you wanted to count to see how many words and letters you've got, highlight a section. Remember, down here will just tell you all of the words within the whole document that you've used. Okay, that what we want to do is, let's say, only find out from here up how many words is in that. So you select it, left mouse button on the word count, and this box will pop up. Pages 1 is what we've selected, only 1 pages, has 19 words, and it has 360 characters within those words. Okay, and go close, and that's that. A lot of times if you're doing a report and you want to share it with somebody to get their feedback, what they can do is track changes and give you suggestions. For instance, I use this a lot whenever I help people with the resumes. I look at them, instead of typing it and actually correcting it for them, I'll actually ask questions and put comments using the track changes. Okay, and then the view tab at the top is just like down at the bottom, where you can actually, all your different layouts. If you want your rulers shown, your grid lines, navigation pane, if you want to zoom in, zoom out, if you want to see only 1 page, you can click on that. 2 pages is that, and then, or the page width, which is really zoomed in. And there's not much else to see. Like I said, it looks like a lot, but once you get using it, you'll find out that it's not really that bad. The only other tab I haven't gone through at this point is the File tab. So if you left mouse click on the word File, it'll come up. This is where you do your saving. You can open, you can do your new document, you can print it. So for instance, if I wanted to save this, I'll do File, Save As. It's going to come up and ask me, where do you want to save this in? I'm going to double click on Joanne. I'm going to go then and just leave it as headline document for class. Okay, so then I'm going to go down here, left mouse button on save, and now up here it's changed to that. So now I can do either more changes down into here. I can change that and then do File, either Save or Save As. I can go close. I can close it. You've made changes. Remember, I've typed in. I go, no, don't save it. So it closes it, but it still has Microsoft Word open. What you then want to do is left mouse button. You can go up to Recents. This shows you all the different places that you've been, which is the little folders, and the documents that you've actually just changed. So you want a left mouse button. That'll bring your document back up, and there you go. If you want to now print it, you do File, Print. Your print box will come, your print will come up. This is your document. This is, if you left mouse button on that, you can choose your printer. And then in order to print it, you have to actually left button on the print, and it'll actually print it. And these are all your different selections, your different settings that you can print. All pages, print the current page, if you want to, let's say if you have a 15-word document, you only want to print pages 1 through 5, you put 1-5 in there, and only print pages 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you wanted to double side or one side your report when you print it, your orientation, if you want a portrait again or landscape, that's what it looks like. That's portrait, and then we go up here and go landscape, and that's what landscape looks like. But we're just gonna, because we've done everything in portrait, so that's all we want at this point. So that's your bare basics of how to use Microsoft Word. And now I'm gonna go, either you can do this 2 ways. Either make it so that way you can actually see it, which is always helpful. You can actually do it 2 ways. You can do File, this File, Exit, or the little cross up at the top. For this purposes, I'm going to do left mouse button up at the top. Did you want to save any of your changes? don't save them, and it gets me out.